Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating, creative young woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ana Jipa. I'm based in Barcelona, born in Romania. And my story is quite a story, but like any other. Yet I say we make story every day by being alive. So where do I start? I'm 33 years old, and I'm also entrepreneur. I've been entrepreneur since I know myself from being a kid. I was having crazy projects. But I think my journey that inspired me so much was the family where I come from. My parents, they moved when I was a kid. I lived in Germany. I lived in Spain. But pretty much Spain has been where my childhood has been evolved. Yet, my parents were really hard worker people, and as being immigrants, well, they were busy working day and night, and I was looking very much for my sister, always having crazy ideas. But as any other parent, they see the future of success in studies. I was studying pretty much. I was a good student, but I would say that that's not what defined my career. It was more like the desire of understanding what's the purpose of all of it. And yeah, it's been basically a journey against the odds of creating opportunities where there are none, and seeing my parents sacrificing a lot. I've been always grateful and hopeful that that will like give me the right path. Yet I wanted to be independent as soon as possible. I I studied engineering in the university, but my first project was a project in Romania about doing helping investors from Spain to go and invest in radiotherapy centers because there were no radiotherapy centers. They were getting obsolete, and the government were living in private hands. So that was like kind of where I got my nose into projects. Now I look back in the past, and I'm like, oh my God, how come I did that? Because um, I was 19, but when I was in the job, when I was doing the project, those questions were not running in my mind. I was just purely doing. And that sentiment ended up opening a lot of doors. One was a scholarship in San Francisco. And I lived everything. I paused university, and then I went to San Francisco to study and get a job, and everything unfold. I mean, the grace of God has been so good that my energy sort of attracted so many opportunities. I was so excited, and my English was not so good, which was surprising, but I could like if you put me on a task, I will try to be the best at it. So around that time, I started understanding a lot of the tech world and how startups evolved and how um, people have crazy ideas that they turn in reality. But the energy was so amazing. People were all dreaming. You were not an awkward um, person for having ideas and trying to settle for the basics. Like, whereas, like, in my family, we're more about like get settled and stop having like too many things in your head, like and that's why it's like I didn't fall into a career, or I marched into it, I would say. When you know that what keeps you up and running is that it doesn't fit particularly on a job, then you start doing a lot of work for free, but you know, like, you're doing the right thing and ended up meeting the right people. And I think that's what sort of defined this career path for me. Now, with all the ups and downs, like, I worked in many companies. I worked for a Mexican government on cybersecurity, one thing after the other, all connected, but it seems like a map of things that if one tries to put sense into it, might not have one linear one. Like, I studied, I got a job, and then I grow into it, but always the same. Just very different things at all levels, and always putting the best of heart. Now, looking in the past for my story, it all makes sense. I'm a mom also. I have a 2-year-old, and basically that has unfolded the most beautiful part of my life. Yet I ran into it with a lot of fears, considering like everything was going on in my career. But somehow everything works out. Currently, in the last 4 years, I am co-founder CEO at a startup that I've built with a marvelous team. And what has led me to this path, I think it's been being constantly driven and curious, and feel connected to the world, um, and trying to solve problems that are worth solving. And with that feeling, you start manifesting, and amazing people show up around your path. And I would say that where we are today, even with the company, it's nothing but a result of brilliant minds that decided to join the journey. So I always wanted to be in the right room where things happen. And to get there, you have to work really hard and be comfortable with always being out of your comfort zone, and understand that you don't need others to be right for you. You need to be right for yourself. And I would say, in a nutshell, this is how much I can share for now of my story, and who's behind this interview that I'm so honored to be on.
What an incredible journey you've been on. My goodness. What is fascinating about your story is I can feel the passion of a young woman who followed her promptings. You followed your heart, even when things didn't sound logical, because a lot of people want the logical route to get to where they want to go. But what motivated you to leave San Francisco with just $3,000 and a dream?
Yeah, quite crazy. I when looking in the past, I think there was not much logical um Anna there, where I would like try to control the future. I would trust with all my heart that it's the right thing to do. Everything in me felt that it was the right thing. Therefore, I was not calculating the 3,000. I maybe like and that's like, perhaps I'm too much of a risk taker, but I was more thinking, if I don't find a job, then I'll make sure I have money enough for a ticket on the way for a way back. But it didn't end up being that the case. Thank God. I think it was this fate. Like, I was thinking, what can go wrong? So I it's not what I had. Maybe it's the absence of what usually is there, which is fear. I did not have fear, and right now, sometimes I have fear for some silly things. That looking in the past, I'm like, where is that Anna? But fear was not there, and therefore, I was very excited to see the world and explore where things happen, because technology had its hub there, and I felt that everything that had to do with building an entrepreneurial attitude was there.
That's just amazing. So, can you share one failure that taught you the most and how you bounced back from it as you were building your business?
So there are many. I think that's the balance. The one thing you learn is how to fail really fast, to accept it and move from it as soon as possible and as quick as possible. And failure at a like at a not macro level, like failure of a business, but failure in terms of little things. So it's a smaller scale. Now, I would
Yeah.
say like what led to those failures, which I can use some examples, was maybe I was so excited of everything that was happening around me that I did not know what's the value of my work. I did not know how to put
Mm,
like money into it. I didn't even find appropriate to ask for money for jobs that I was doing. So of course, when you don't think on these terms, it leads to failure because people start questioning how come um, you're not requesting, or you end up working in projects that you're being taken advantage of, and
yeah.
that sums up. So if you are not having your own backup savings and you always fall into this like, oh, I'm broke again, then
Mm,
you cannot think properly. So that's what led to failures, to not have the confidence of the value of my work, because in my mind I had this echo, I'm too young, why would they pay me, thank god they even want me involved in this. So like not understanding that very early on, having that confident character perhaps was the things like led to failures of all sorts. Then others was the overthinking. Like I had to answer emails, and maybe if it was not perfect and like completely, then I'll be late and the delays will sum up. And when it was a little just too late, then I'm like, oh, what's even worth to respond right now? I'm ashamed even to reply after so long. So it was a lot of circles. I think the failures, um I'm not looking them as failures. Like I'm looking more as the Anna that could lead to major failures of never unlocking great opportunities. And the sum of it like can detach you from the right path. So that's why it's important to have good mentors, or to read good books or biographies, or get inspired by people, be around them, just in
yeah.
their presence, not necessarily talk to them, but like feel them, and it will like spread. It spreads the way that they can inspire you. You need to feel that where you're in their skin for marching into a path that it's ups and downs, and failures are always around the corner, but they're good and
I,
healthy. They're things.
well,
Yeah.
I like to say that my so called failures have been the stepping stones to my success. Everything that went wrong along my path was perfectly part of the journey. And what I've done is I take out the lessons I was supposed to learn from it, won't do it the same way next time, and
So
you just have
yes,
to keep moving
that's
on, right?
yes, absolutely. You said it so well, precisely, because one of the things like when you're exposing yourself to large opportunities, then of course along the way you're not going to be perfect. So if your brain tries to justify that as like, you see, I'm not good at it, I might as well quit, then you don't understand that you have to look at the other side of it, which is, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be learning, then I'll learn it and move on. And that's
Yes,
where like the spiral of growth versus like circling on the same level, I would say.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Now, tell us exactly what your business does for creative people, for filmmakers, and how you are helping people bring their ideas to market.
So, um, Olyn, basically, we are I would say, in a nutshell, our business has been about helping consumers earn money from things that they spend, and this is how we ended up building today Olyn. In a very small description, like Olyn today gives filmmakers full audience ownership, like real-time analytics. It's part of an infrastructure that helps them address themselves direct to audience and own the data of how the audience have reacted towards their film, course, documentary, and not only build that community around it. And there is no platform today doing so. Entertainment today ends up falling in two extremes, either being streamed by a major platform like Netflix, Prime, um, or all the like movie TV, or they end up on YouTube or Vimeo, that it's quite hard to monetize your work, or even build a community around it and know who's behind that play. So today, filmmakers have a chance to expose their films in a very professional way, no code needed, and monetize it. And the
Yeah.
differentiator of the payment system that we built, because we built a full grant payment system, and this is the start of Olyn, that we are a payments company, in fact, is that we're
Okay.
the first checkout that enables the checkout, the first patent checkout, that when somebody pays for something, they're not
Yeah.
only actually getting they're not only getting a receipt, they're getting proof of ownership of what they purchased, and also
Right.
they're getting a referral, which means if they advocate for what they just purchased, then they are earning money if anybody buys it from their link.
Oh, wow. So they just have to share what they are enjoying with others.
They have to share, and basically, this is what we are thinking in terms of the magic of sharing in communities, but not only like micro earnings. If somebody buys the movie from me, as me, I advocate for it, I should be able to go and buy bread with the money because I
Yeah.
have $2 in my wallet.
Wow. It's such an incredible but simple concept where you find that when you're working in the collective, we have power. Whereas if you're working by yourself in isolation, your reach is limited. Nobody is advocating for you or speaking on your behalf. And people give up on their dreams because of that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I would summarize this, like, because you do a lot of community work, which is extremely fascinating, is communities have the power since the internet and all the network effects have an immense power. And I've
Yes.
experienced something that completely changed my mind of what communities are capable of within a group of WhatsApp. And with Olin, we started with films, but the problem we're wanting to solve was on both sides. Audience watching something with impact, and they
Mhm.
earning money if they promote this movie, because in the end, movies get to be referred. Like, you only find out about great movies because somebody has talked about it. And then on the
Yeah.
other side, filmmakers that they have done incredible job, but they're not as sensational as like, they're not falling into sensationalism, where
Right.
like rom-com. Like, there are some very impactful movies that are not so much entertaining but highly educational. So that's what we do in a nutshell.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Now, I know that you believe in building systems for fairness. What does that mean to you in practical terms?
So fairness, for like the internet, the beginnings of the internet has quality. Like, it just connected the world, and the more the world got connected, the more sort of like like it looks dangerous because people have so many opinions. And as I said before, the power of communities are immense. They can even take a market down. There's been proven. So
Yes.
the fairness is, uh, I I love what's called the sharing economy. All those concepts that um at a certain level, me as an individual, I should be able to monetize my secondhand goods very easily. I should be able to monetize a little for promoting something. I'm already doing all these things, but
Yes.
when it when it today when I have to recommend something, I don't make micro earnings out of it. So fairness is for every single, because internet is built, I'll make a parenthesis. Internet is built by people. Look at
Yeah.
Wikipedia, look how the way it's organized. But those people haven't benefit from what these associations like Facebook or like these big topics that are happening today or
Yeah.
Netflix. They don't own any of those things. They are like the enabler, yet they hold all the money. Now, if there's a
Yes.
distribution, then everything like builds this systematic system like biology, like forests. They share their nutrition and there's like an intelligence behind everything. So
Yes.
fairness is the efforts that I'm doing, price it. Let the internet have a mechanism of price for you applying what today the internet is: videos, comments, participation, anything of it. So with Olin, we started little with what I just said. I picked something default, get me the link. If I promote this, and my family definitely might buy it from me because I'm recommending this laundry machine, this movie,
Yeah.
then I can make more earnings. In this case, the filmmaker spreading those earnings with a streamer, then it's enabling the community to also earn from it. So you
Right.
asked me before at the beginning, what gave me the courage to go to San Francisco with 19. And I said in my intro that I come from a family very, very culturally rich and religious. And my grandfather, a lot of um, community work when during the communism in Romania, religion was forbidden, some literature was forbidden. So he did years of jail for importing books from Germany in Romania, such Bibles or Dostoevsky, and he got to it. And there were like hidden communities. And as I grow up, he will take me on summers, me and my cousins on his van, and we'll cross Romania, the country. Him will visit his friends, and I experienced the power of community. Uncles that are Orthodox priests. And when you see what they are capable of, then part of my faith was I'm sure there will be a community in San Francisco that if something happens, they will help. So I have this belief that communities always show up.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So you grew up with very solid foundations that kind of shaped your worldview, your sense of justice. It's just incredible. Now, I know you mentioned when you were filling out my form in preparation for this podcast that you mentioned optimism as a discipline. Now, how do you cultivate it on a daily basis, especially with all of the stuff that's going on in the world?
Yes. So I would say this is something um that everybody has. Optimism, it's not something you're born with it. Oh, I'm maybe, yes, because you had an environment of very positive people and positive things and positive language. Like it's very important how you were talked to, the same
Yeah.
way dialogue to yourself. And and my parents, because they were working so much, if I had a problem, their words to me will be like, "Oh, Anna, if you don't know how to solve it, then who will?" They were words of
Oh, wow.
encouraging that, "Oh, you'll find
Yeah.
out." But they weren't doing it to train me in optimism. They're like, I'm busy enough. And now what I would say is when I mentioned that, it was from a perspective of you see people that even like they are trying to, you know, get antidepressants for having imposing that optimism in themselves. And is life has its up and downs, and being sad it's healthy, and crying it's healthy. What
Yeah.
it's not is not going coming up out of it. So
And
for
staying
me,
in there.
it's a ritual because every morning I wake up and I have a dialogue where I am trying to have this cleaning, like this organized mindset about what's the day going to be. And when I don't do this, I feel that, so it's something you have to take care of every day. And by saying that is enabling also bad and good things, but optimism, it's what keeps you going and what's the
Yeah.
reason for it. And I think like our tendency is always to fall into, oh, everything is going bad. But you have to stretch time sometimes and look in the past and say, oh, but there are like very good times. So journaling and understanding that it's not something like it's given or it has to be there, or you're not just the person, but it's
Mm,
something you have to work on it every day to keep
yeah.
that mindset. And if not, what is like taking it away? Is it the people? Is it the circumstances? Is it the and I had once a conversation with somebody that that we I was introduced to on an event.
Okay.
And at that time I was literally maybe I had a debt. I had 2 years. I'm like, how am I gonna make it back home? But in my mind, I'm gonna get out of this for sure. And
Mhm.
I was doing some projects, but I didn't got paid on time. So still, I went to this event, and that person is like, "Yeah, no, I mean, like, it's amazing all you're doing and everything." But yeah, when you're already rich and have a lot of money and everything, of course, you're optimist all the time. And I'm like,
Mm,
if you only knew my reality. But it's this is this first, impression that you're like, oh, that person is an optimist. But I think the people that have struggled the most, they have the healthiest optimism out there. And this is what I think it's precious, as you said before. Celebrate your failures, celebrate your struggles, because those made you. And then when you start harvesting everything you've been planting, then understand that this is how it comes out, with full optimism for everything, that you can do everything.
I love it. Now, how did motherhood change your perspective on leadership and business?
Oh, so this is something extremely magical, even like birth, because it was natural, like that struggle, like, I mean, you bloom. I thought I will die until like I sort of resurrected somehow. I'm not sure how like that happened, but definitely um there is some I think make made me much more practical about every single decision. Needs to be
Mm,
quick, fast, and also the perspective changes. Why you do what you do. Before you just had to respond for yourself, but now being a single mom, like I had to think really seriously how how am I utilizing this time, because
yeah,
risks are not just mine alone. I'm dragging her along with me if things don't go right.
yeah.
So fears can grow suddenly, but there is something that it's just like late at night when these thoughts of concerns come along, you just look at her and all
Mm,
fades away, and then it empowers. It's like you have this energy. It's like, oh no, this has to work now. And
yeah.
and when you're putting yourself in that mindset, like things unfold, conversations with people. I think it brought in me some sort of deepness about things, looking into things different, even like the values behind the way we do things. Also understanding what living means, because before it was work, 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 and I barely could talk to people about anything but work. But it was a phase of life.
Yeah.
Now I can talk about vacation. I can talk about other things that I forgot about then, as I was completely drawn into just working nonstop.
My last two questions for you are a bit of a thought experiment. And I'm going to take you on a journey, first of all, into the past. If I could teleport you to go and have a conversation with the younger you, that young woman who went out into the world with big dreams, trying to achieve something that has never been done before. If you could go back and give yourself three nuggets of wisdom based on what life has taught you up until this point, what would those three nuggets of wisdom be?
Hmm, very good question. Now, I will take this question really seriously, because a lot comes in my mind. But three, I would say, so one is look at the people for not for their potential, anybody around you. Like, look and treat them for their potential, and they'll become so around you. Not so much little details about now and then, like elevate that perception of the world, of living it as it's already the way um, you expect to be. And that is related to the second one, which is like it's like you never can have what you don't know what it means having. And that imagination only expands if you get curious, you read, you look for inspiration, and it's going to settle in you. The third one is don't look so much for I want this, I want that in life in a material way. Don't materialize the future. Just think of how you want to feel in the future, and then the world is going to range around it. But not so much about, oh, I wanted a million, I want, because that maybe is not going to bring the right feeling in you. But I think picturing, and those are like three things that are not so connected, but connected in a way that if I
Yes.
would have known earlier, maybe I could have saved some very big struggles.
The last question, I'll teleport you into the future this time. And we are going to go and meet the 90-year-old you. And she is sitting in her rocking chair, surrounded by her children, her grandchildren, whoever's with her at the end. If I could teleport you to go and meet this wise woman who has led you up until this point, what will you say to her when you finally meet her?
If I meet the future me, hmm, this is a very, because wow, you caught me here, because this morning I was thinking, why people think care so much about longevity? Like, I'm like grateful if I got that. It's something very healthy and important to think of yourself at that age. Mm, what will I tell her is, don't give up. Don't give up, and uh, make sure that your heart is at peace with everything. That's what it's gonna get you healthy, and no debts. That's for sure. I wanna, I wanna see myself in because you always indebt yourself for everything in as a young person that you might drag along. But no, like going into a more beautiful mindset here. I believe that, yeah, you love you. I think like you become what you love, and you still remain yourself. So that mixture, I'm curious to see how it's gonna bloom. But not giving up, considering like things are gonna get, and always be modern, be curious, understand what's going on around you. But I hope I understood the question correctly. Get root, because
Absolutely. I'll tell you why I like asking women this question. A lot of women look outside of themselves for answers, for solutions, and they forget to go within and tune in with the energy of who they are becoming.
mm,
So I have a game that I have played my whole life where I talk to her. I have seen her, I've had conversations with her, and she guides me. And they could be situations where I feel really stuck and I don't know which way to go next. And I go into my meditation and prayers and I ask a
mm,
very simple question like, so what is the next step?
very
And
interesting.
I sleep on it. And I will wake up in the morning, I'm in the shower, and it drops into the ether, from the ether into my mind, the exact next piece, the next step I need to take to achieve whatever it is I'm working on. Or I talk to people during the day. I talk to random strangers in a taxi, in a lift, at the bus stop. This is what I'm working on. And magically, every single person I meet brings a piece to this puzzle together. You know, like when I met you tonight,
Yes.
and you seem to have the last piece to my puzzle, and I will explain what this is all about when we talk. But we look outside of ourselves, but we are born with all of the knowings that we need to create the life that we want. That's why no two people will ever do the same thing. And if they do, they will never do it exactly the same. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
So I love
Very,
to
I
share
can.
with people how I've lived my life. And you alluded to it a little bit earlier where you said that the universe just starts bringing the right people to you. When you have a very clear vision of where you're going, that's all you need to do. That's your job. How it's going to get to you is none of your business. It's having clarity on what the end goal is.
Yes.
The
In
how
fact, this is
is
exactly one of the three advices that I would have told myself in the past is like, change your mindset. Don't color the outcome. Know the feeling, and the outcome maybe it's gonna have a different color, but the feeling is be there. And that
yeah.
like makes the path.
It's such a simple philosophy or way of being. I mean, I have had a spirit-led life is the way I describe my life. I have had a
Mm,
series of miracle after miracle, and I look back at where I was born in a village with no electricity, no running water, on a grass mat, and what I've achieved in my life, and none of it makes sense. It defies logic and reason, but it is a beautiful way to live. Really, really beautiful way.
I think this is where I resonate with you 100% when I had to explain, because looking at the people I ended up meeting, the people around me that I've attracted, and the like people that they work with me, like that they own a bank, others that like become governor of Nevada, like is our one of our investors, the global CTO from SAP and IBM, like people that are friends. But
Yes.
my character was never, oh, I need to meet these
Meet
people
those
because I
people.
want.
Oh,
I in fact, we were friends, and finally, when I had an idea 7 years after, maybe I dared to talk, and it was more of a how amazing to have the chance to be around them, so I know what it means to breathe and live their success. Not so much what do I get out of them, otherwise why hanging out. And this is the magic of letting things just happen. Sometimes,
Unfold. You let them unfold. Now we have somebody chiming in on YouTube. Rovel John, thank you for tuning in. He says, looking for a mentor. So, Rovel, are you a filmmaker? Give us more information about you in the chat and reach out to us. I'm on LinkedIn. If you have an
yes,
email address, share that with us. We would love to see how we can help and support you as well. Absolutely love this.
absolutely.
So, unfortunately, we have run out of time. I could talk to you forever. Thank you, thank you,
Yes.
thank you for the work that you're doing to empower storytellers, filmmakers to manifest their dreams and bring them to market. This is just so inspiring having met you tonight.
I must say it's an honor. I've watched 3 times your TED Talk,
Oh,
other
thank you.
different ones too, and I cried. And I'm only being with you on this conversation, I can feel the energy and the power in you, and that's why we'll do great things together, I'm sure.
That
And that
I
will
absolutely sure of, without a doubt. I know we didn't bump into each other by accident. Coincidences in this life. It's divine perfection when we meet the right people, when we are ready to get things done. And thank you to everybody who tuned in today. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We're a social impact movement that brings you the stories of women from all over the world. We share our stories to uplift you, to inspire you, to energize you, but most importantly, to help take you from where you are now to where you're trying to go. So tune in again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And Anna, thanks again for the interview.
blessings everyone, and thank you so much.
Don't go away, Anna. Bye for now, everybody.
Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.